let's talk about something we all deal with, our bodies, and how sometimes it feels like they're running these secret programs behind the scenes that we have no control over, especially when we get sick. You know that feeling, right? One day you feel totally fine, and the next you're hit with a fever or a cough, or just feel off. It can feel so random, almost like your body is working against you instead of for you. But what if there's a different way to see it? This whole idea really kicked off with a doctor's personal story, a tragedy that made him ask a question nobody else was asking. So back in 1978, a doctor named Reich Geerd Hammer went through something no parent should. His son was fatally injured. And then just 3 months later, Dr. Hammer, who'd been perfectly healthy his whole life, gets diagnosed with cancer. The timing just felt impossible. It couldn't be a coincidence. So he had to wonder, could the shock, the grief of losing his son, actually be connected to his body getting sick? And that question led him to look at his patients, where he found this really wild pattern. Every single one of them had also gone through some kind of sudden, intense shock right before their diagnosis. So this wasn't just a hunch anymore. It was the beginning of a whole new way of thinking. Dr. Hamer suggested that what we call illness isn't a mistake at all, but actually a really smart survival program that follows a clear set of rules. He called them the 5 biological laws. Okay, so let's get into the first law. This one's all about the trigger. What's the moment that flicks the switch and turns one of these special programs on? In this theory, that trigger is called a biological conflict. And it's not just your everyday stress, like a test or an argument. It's a specific kind of moment, something that hits you out of nowhere, feels super intense, and in that instant makes you feel totally alone with it. And here's where you can really see how everything's connected. The idea is that this shock hits 3 levels all at the same time. First, your psyche, your mind just gets stuck on it, replaying it over and over. Second, a very specific spot in your brain lights up. And third, a change starts in the part of your body that's linked to that exact spot in the brain. It's like a lightning strike that happens on every level at once. All right, so what happens after that shock hits? That brings us to the second law, which is all about rhythm. It suggests that our bodies have these 2 main modes they operate in, kind of like day and night. And this is where it gets really interesting. First, there's the conflict active phase. This is when you're in it. The stress is on, you might have cold hands, you can't sleep, your mind is just going a mile a minute. You're basically in survival mode. But once you figure that problem out, once the stress is gone, you switch into the healing phase and look at the signs. Warm hands, feeling super tired, maybe some inflammation or a fever. Sound familiar? According to this theory, all those things we call being sick are actually signs your body is finally in repair mode. Think about that for a second. It completely flips how we usually think about illness. The exhaustion, the aches, the sniffles. The idea here is that these are actually good signs. They mean the stress is over and your body is in the middle of a major cleanup and repair job. Okay, so what's actually happening during that repair process? The last 3 laws are kind of like the body's secret operating manual. They explain the deeper mechanics of how these programs run. Law number 3 says that during one of these programs, your body is doing one of 2 things. It's either adding cells, creating something like a growth, or it's removing cells, creating a little hole or an ulcer. And which one it does isn't random. It's a predictable system that depends on the organ and the kind of conflict it was responding to. Now this next one, the 4th law, might just flip everything you've ever learned about germs on its head. Instead of seeing things like bacteria and fungi as bad guys we need to fight, this theory sees them as helpers. They're like a specialized cleanup crew that shows up during the healing phase to help break down any extra cells or repair tissue that was lost. And finally, the 5th law kind of brings it all home. It says that every single one of these programs has a purpose. It's not a mistake. It's an ancient survival strategy that our bodies evolved over millions of years to help us deal with a threat. So from this point of view, nothing your body does is actually random or malicious. It's always trying to help you survive. So what do you do with all of this? The point isn't to start diagnosing yourself or anything like that. It's really just about getting curious. It's a tool for you to start noticing things in a new way, to get a little bit more aware of what your body is up to and why. So you can just start by noticing. Maybe ask yourself some questions. Next time you feel off, can you think back, was there a stressful moment right before this started? When did that stress actually let up? And when did the physical symptoms begin? You don't even need to find an answer. Just start to notice. Notice when a particular feeling turns on. Notice what makes it feel louder. And notice what helps it calm down. Awareness is always the first step. The physicist John Wheeler said that, and it really fits here. It's about looking for a simple pattern in something that seems really complicated. An idea so perfect that once you see it, you think, of course, how could it be any other way? So, look, this is just one way of seeing the incredible connection between what we experience and what happens in our bodies. The goal here isn't to have all the answers. It's really about sparking your own curiosity, developing a new kind of awareness about just how intelligent your body really is. And we have to end on the most important thing of all. This is for educational purposes, to get you thinking. It is never, ever a replacement for professional medical advice. If you have any health concerns, seriously, big or small, please always talk to a good doctor or therapist. Always.